Let's go main screen. 3, 2, 1. Take it away, Nathan.
Hi, welcome to the ALCast. My name is Nathan, so go ahead.
Hi, I'm Justin.
I'm Chris.
I'm Allan.
So this week is my week to pick a topic. So I just opened up that trash can of current events and just picked up the stinkiest one right on top of the trash can there, and that is you got this guy, Elon Musk, and he actually they finally twisted his arm into actually buying Twitter, and yeah, so that's just what's going on right now. And as it relates to me, one of the things that I think is very relevant here is should there be lifetime bans in general? Should there be special case lifetime bans? And then even just that one singular special case, should Donald Trump be allowed on Twitter? So that's the question. So I guess I'll put those three questions. All three is in general, should there be lifetime bans? Should there be exceptions to the general rule if the answer is no? And then Donald Trump specifically. I'll put that to you guys.
I think there should be lifetime bans. I think if they have a terms of service, it's up to them to determine, what the consequences are of that terms of service. It's not a necessity. It's different than banning food or water. You're banning somebody from a certain platform because they've abused their rights on that platform, as lined out in the terms of service.
I agree pretty much completely, and I disagree with what I'm going to say next, but a lot of people, one of the big arguments with Twitter was that people were saying it's the what's it called? The term they were using is a de facto town square. So it was like a public setting in which people can enforce First Amendment onto a company. There's very few instances where you can kind of where constitutions are enforced in that way on companies. I don't think Twitter is fucking a town hall where people can just go and spew whatever. I think if that was in their terms of service where it says you can come here and spew whatever, I think that's fine. But as it stands, they say, hey, here's our guidelines. We're a private company. Just adhere to these or get banned. So that's the argument that people made, and that was, I think, one of Musk's meme points, where he was just like, hey, you know what, Twitter's a town hall, we gotta get freedom of speech back here, let's buy it for $4.26.9. And that's kind of what he did. Now I haven't heard anything of him doing stuff like that or referencing the town hallness of it, other than I think he mentioned he wants to unban some people.
Is the whole point of this stunt to unban people?
That was definitely my concern, because I think it's really hard to understand why he would want to do this. And then, so it seems to me at least one possibility is, well, if Donald Trump gets back on Twitter, then maybe Donald Trump has a path to the Republican nomination. If he has a path to the Republican nomination, maybe he has a path back to the White House. And then if he has a path back to the White House, maybe Elon thinks there's something in it for him if he's playing this instrumental role here. And that I don't know, that it doesn't seem impossible to me that there could be some understanding there. And I just want to wait.
Before we move on, can I say my piece about?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think there should be lifetime bans. However, I think maybe the moderation policies have gotten a little far out there. In 2013, if you caught a lifetime ban from Twitter, it's dude, what the fuck did you do? Did you show someone's decapitated head on stream or something? What on earth did you do? But now it's just I don't know. I feel it's a little too far. You can say
now we've learned what things do and do.
Twitter, and then you get a ban from Facebook, and then you get a ban from YouTube, and then you get a ban from Instagram. I think there's a level of not coordination between social media companies but it is a little spooky to me
Conspiracy?
that like you can get completely deleted off the internet at this point.
So I actually have the opinion that Donald Trump got deleted from the internet at like a pivotal moment where he actually was trying to like seize power. And
Okay,
Right.
and I think that actually it was kind of hilarious how much that completely stopped in its tracks. That just fixed it.
He was
Like,
attempting a
Donald
coup
Trump-
d'etat, and they cut off his communication methods. Like
And he was
that's
like-
what happened.
like, I don't have any alternative. Like I don't have my own like communication I can do. Like it just fixed it. It's like I thought it was like amazing how well it worked, and I am just worried that the opposite thing is going to have the opposite effect. But anyway, that's maybe a controversial claim to begin with. The fact that that's what he was doing, and then that's what happened, and it actually like helped. Like that's definitely my view. But
yeah. To be
I-
clear, I am totally fine with Trump catching a lifetime ban. Like,
Yeah, I don't quite think that it's gonna have that kind of effect, Nate, as far as like re-allowing Trump a path to the White House, because I honestly think that he might already have one. Like, news is still covering him, and whether it's like Fox or CNN or whatever, like I spent some time in Philly just watching local TV because that's all anybody watches anymore, I guess. And Trump is all over the place still. Like he still has his message out there. He still is like a crazy fucking person, and people are still aware of it. I think so. I don't think him coming back to Twitter is gonna, if he does end up coming back to Twitter, is gonna like reignite all of this. I think it's still there, simmering. I don't think it went away. I think it just went enough away.
simmering is very different from what it was doing when he got banned, though.
Oh yeah,
Like, it was
100%.
boiling. It was like boiling.
Yeah.
Maybe now it's simmering after all those bans, but it was like boiling. At least that was my perception of it.
I mean, I think it's important to, like Justin said, if you got banned from Twitter in 2013, like you must have been doing some like crazy shit. But it's like if you get banned today, it's like reasons you get banned today might be stricter or more lenient than 2013. Reasons in 2033 might be stricter or more lenient than today. So whatever you got banned for today might be okay in the future or even worse in the future. So it's like
100%. I think that's a big takeaway from a lot of this too, is that we learn, right? We just like we learn what things are harmful and what things aren't, and it is on us to change our laws and the things that we like do allow and don't allow based on that. And I think that's what companies do when they update terms of service. Is they learn what things are harmful to them or harmful to whatever society community they're trying to serve, and attempt to remove those things.
You know, this kind of reminds me of something that I think we might have touched on before, and that's the fact that it's like if you look at movies back in history, like, or you just look at older movies, they'll just sort of casually have some things that you don't really see in movies anymore because people have raised the issue. But then, like, a kind of a thought experiment is like, well, what are the normal things in movies still that people will think that will think that kind of thing about in the future?
Okay, can I have like a side tangent, like real quick? I love watching old as dirt movies, because like you'll watch a movie from like 60s or something, and they'll just have a fucking chicken and watermelon joke and starts throwing on like the F slur, and it's just like, ooh, like,
Yeah.
you feel like
I'm pretty sure that the N word is
also
said
really funny,
multiple
'cause, like, that's
times
how it was.
in The Shining. I remember going to see that in the theaters recently, and that being thrown around a lot, just like normal, which is very normal stuff. I'm like, this is insane.
yeah, like this would never ever even come close to flying today. Like,
Is that the real takeaway? Do you think it should be able to fly today? I think it's more that like
I think
that wouldn't fly today.
I think on some level that should be able to fly today. Like
I think on some level.
Like if you watch fucking Django, like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You're gonna try and make like that kind of movie and like I don't know, clean it up. I think that does a disservice to it. I also actually rewatched Entourage over the past couple weeks. One of my favorite shows. Awesome show. A lot of that stuff would not fly today.
Incredibly problematic.
general themes, some of the general themes, yes. Although I did read a little bit about it. I refinished the series a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I wonder what they're up to. Read a little bit about it, and actually a lot of relatively recent articles were posted on it. It's like Entourage really gave you like a fucking true to life, like unfiltered view of what Hollywood is really like behind closed doors. So
especially during that time.
yeah, so I don't know, like if they make the Blizzard, the story of the Blizzard, and somehow are able to dramatize enough to make a movie or like a show or something about it, like they're gonna have to be
what Blizzard?
Blizzard, like all the like sexual harassment and all that sort of shit. Like
That Blizzard.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Blizzard Games, Blizz Activision. And like if someone makes like
Activision.
a show,
Because I thought maybe you were talking about like the lore or something. I actually thought you were talking about either the lore or like a real Blizzard that happened.
No. It's good to clarify. But yeah, like if someone made a movie about that, like, yeah, you gotta really get into the down and dirty of, the culture, the people, the scandals, the shit that they were saying, and you can't really clean it up, or again, you're doing a disservice to it. All that stuff though is based off of like, sort of real events, so you have, I guess, an excuse. If you make like
you're not playing it for laughs. I think there's a difference between that and like what Justin's saying about playing chicken and watermelon jokes for laughs in order to perpetuate stereotypes.
That's the thing. Like if we make a movie about like the 60s, 50s, or like 70s, even like 80s and 90s, like we can skip over the like bunch of this like racism shit. Depending on who we're talking about in that time period, it's more accurate to include it. But if we made like a fantasy world, and then we're just like, hey, there's this race of people in this fantasy world. They fucking love chicken and watermelons. Guess who they look like? That's probably problematic.
Yeah.
Like 60s jokes were definitely problematic. Those would not fly. Those should not fly for sure. However, there's also things like Chappelle's Show that I don't think would fly today. And I think maybe we should have a little more like humorous commentary on that. Maybe.
So, how about Disco Elysium? Have you played that game?
I haven't played shit.
I really recommend it. But it does kind of remind me of that fantasy world thing where it's like they sort of have this entire fictional world, and then in that fictional world they have like some characters that are like super, super racist. And then like if you are trying to map things, if you're trying to figure out like what the different fictional things represent, I think you could probably find a way to get like really offended by that game. But I think the key is it's like, well, there isn't necessarily any valid mapping. It's all just this fictional place, right? Sure. So it's like, and it is kind of interesting that people are looking for that kind of meaning. It's like they are going to try to assume anything is some like allegory, and maybe it just isn't. It's just like some fantasy. And it's like I don't know if they were to do that and make some other kind of media about it, I think they might have got in trouble with Disco Elysium. But it's unquestionably like a great game.
Well, are you allowed to make fictional media that has racism and sexism and all that sort of shit? Completely off of Earth with different races and all that sort of shit?
Well, I just think people are expecting some kind of commentary. They're expecting some kind of commentary into the current world, and they're going to be interpreting things through that lens, and like then you just got to account for that. And I think there's probably always going to be somebody that doesn't like it, but you just have to try to keep it under some critical mass, I guess.
I mean, some of that commentary is purposeful, right? Like the point of it is to have that commentary to like bring light to some things that are like Disco Elysium deals a lot with like mental illness and stuff like that too, right? They talk about it a lot, and it's like a big crux of the gameplay.
Addiction.
Yeah, and addiction. And I think it's important to like bring that stuff to light and not to shy away from it. I think you do have a message, or you do have like some kind of like reason for telling that specific story or for bringing up those specific things, because they are happening. Like the things that we're not going to get away from. And I think that even if we were in like a different alien society, I think that those things would still be present. Those like metaphysical things like ennui and depression and addiction. Ennui.
But so this is kind of circling back. I just want to get out before we're completely on a different topic.
Sure.
I want to. So looking at the lens of current media of stuff that's acceptable, I think in like 20 or 30 years, there's something that people are going to find to be unacceptable, and I think what that is like if you just have some like way to designate some group of like people or aliens or some group of something in your media as like the acceptable violence targets. I think they're like, so just looking at Star Wars, you have all the stormtroopers run out of the door like bam 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 bam, they all got shot. Like I think in the future they're gonna be like, what, you can't just have these acceptable violence targets. Yeah, or even maybe like orcs in Lord of the Rings, like that too. But what kind of made me think about this was the fact that you have like Finn, and then he like takes off his stormtrooper helmet. It's like, wow, like he's actually a character, he's actually a real person. And I'm like, are they going to deconstruct this? Are they going to be like, okay, maybe like the stormtroopers are actually people, and they're going to introduce that as a theme? But then like 10 minutes later in the movie, Finn's like, wow, look at all these acceptable violence targets. Like people just like gunning down all the other stormtroopers. And then I'm like, wait a second, like this actually doesn't make sense, right? Like, if Finn takes off his helmet, and then I'm like, wow, like it's a whole nother side of stormtroopers. Then that next scene, it seemed like kind of weird to me.
I think,
anyway.
Yeah, it's like the collateral damage in superhero movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's best not to think about it at that point because it's just not part of it. Like,
Yeah.
You have to divorce that from the rest of it. Yeah, I mean that's like the Death Star argument for a long time has been that the second Death Star, they blew it up in the middle of construction, which means that it wasn't like a fully operational army base. It was a space station that was in the process of being built and had all of these like workers on it building the space station. And they blew it up, and everybody's like cheering. It's rude.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, let's be real. Like, we celebrate like Russian tanks getting fucking popped like a little like a what's the thing?
A balloon.
A balloon.
Yeah, like a little balloon, I guess. Because like literally, like the tank like turret like is armed with explosives. Like it's just guns. Like it's just bullets like all around that. So if you hit it with a javelin, it just pops like a little firecracker. And I think we celebrate that stuff.
People call them
it's a thing that happens.
too.
I think it's part of human nature to some degree.
Yeah, but
I think that we need to start divorcing that stuff from reality. I don't think that like I personally don't celebrate that. That's something that I like get a hard on for seeing.
I mean, me neither. I'm just saying in general.
I know that like people, it's definitely a part of the human brain, the reptile part of the human brain,
right,
that likes to see it.
Yeah, I think it's very understandable for like all the soldiers to like cheer if they get the tank, because that tank is maybe about to kill them, right?
Yeah, I think it's fair for them to celebrate.
Yeah,
how acceptable is it for other people on the internet to celebrate it? I don't know. Yeah, it's actually like that. Honestly, maybe that's even a better topic than my topic. Like,
should we be celebrating violence in general?
That's yeah, I mean, because that specifically, like, I don't know. It's like, yeah. It's hard to say.
I mean, if you want to ditch your topic, we can talk about that. I got some
No,
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we can just shift gears.
But
no, I don't know.
You had some interesting follow-ups to your Twitter thing.
Yeah, let me see if I remember anything.
Yeah, we can go back to talking about old Musky
Old Musky.
and the purchasing of social media.
Yeah, I think Elon is just a dog that caught the car. Like, he shitposts like, hey, like we should change Twitter, guys, and then he's like, hey, maybe I'll buy Twitter, guys, and then he says like, hey, I'm gonna buy Twitter for like this amount of money, guys.
It's gonna go under. Like, the end result of this is people are just gonna have a better reason to dunk on that fucking weirdo.
Yeah, I mean, they already do.
It's not gonna go well.
He's already starting to sell blue check marks.
Yeah,
It's really funny. It was $20 and now it's $8. It might fly more. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, like I think he's definitely the dog that caught the car. Like, he was trying to like back out of the deal, and then Twitter forced his hand and said, "No, you said it. You signed the thing. You got to buy us. Give us a shitload of money." And now he had to give them a shitload of money, and they're like $1 billion in debt. like just interest payments or something like that. Like literally more revenue than they possibly make. So now he's just like, okay, well, how do I get out of this? I got to cut 75% of the company, which he dies. Like, I don't know. It seems like he's potentially going to lose his shirt because of this shit posting, but we'll see what happens. I think there's like two good possibilities, right? One, he actually fixes Twitter and it's not a shithole, or two, he makes it way worse and just burns down to the ground. Like,
I don't think Twitter is a shithole. Again, not one of those weird opinions, I guess, but
yeah.
I don't have a problem with Twitter. I mean, like, yeah, there's like some shitty posts on there every once in a while, but by and large, the people that I follow, the circle that I have in Twitter, the things that I see are like good, enjoyable. Every once in a while, I have to see something really depressing, but as far as like a social media sphere, it's been fine for me.
I think you can curate it to the point that it's a good place and it's not a total shithole, but it is undeniably shithole things happening on the site.
So
yeah,
there are two things that happen on Twitter that have become like almost like 50% of my notifications that I get from Twitter. So one thing that happens on Twitter is that there are these accounts that follow you, and then if you follow them back, they message you, and then they try to get you to tell them your phone number.
So bots.
And basically, like, whenever an account follows me and it has a picture of a woman and it has less than 50 followers, it's almost always one of those accounts. Sure. Like, and ever since I noticed something happened, like something changed in Twitter, and it happened like 4 days before this Musk thing became official. I don't know, like, but ever since then, I've been getting like 2 or 3 of these accounts following me per day. And that's been 100% of my new followers, and it's been like 25 of them.
Maybe because you took the bait.
Well,
you took the bait, and they were like,
"This guy
fucking takes the bait. Let's get him." And then they all just jumped on you.
and then I was just like, so the thing, they want your number, and then they're like, okay, to check if it's you, like, I'm gonna send you a code, so you got to tell me what the code is. And then I was like, why do you want to send me a code? And since then, I've learned what they're doing. They're signing up a Google Voice phone number with your phone number, and then they're getting you to verify it, and then they'll use the Google Voice to scam other people. So it's a factory. Like, that's what they're trying to get. They're trying to get verified Google Voice. Oops.
Is that them now? They just heard Nate.
What are they saying? They're listening.
They're listening.
Yeah, man. Be careful, all right? Don't dox yourself.
And anyway, so the other thing that happens on Twitter, that's like 25% of my notifications.
Do you think that that's like a thing that's Twitter specific? You haven't seen stuff like that on Facebook, on Instagram,
That's how I drew.
That's like internet.
Because somebody on the Facebook Marketplace thing tried it.
I was gonna say that's like strictly Facebook Marketplace. Anytime I post something there, I get like, if I get 10 responses, one of them is a person. The rest is like, hey, I want to pick this up. What's your number?
Did they send you the texts in a picture too?
No.
Because the guy that was like, I posted a listing from the old Civic, and somebody was like, all the messages, he was sending pictures of the messages.
And you weren't like, oh, this is weird.
I was. I was like, this is weird. And then at the end of it, I like. Anyway, not important.
That's so fucking funny.
What's the other thing that happens on Twitter? Another 25% of my Twitter notifications are literally crypto spammers. So it's like, check out my new crypto project at and there's like 20 ads. And then like, I have to, every time this happens, I report it and I say it's spam. And then they're like, what other tweets do you want to select? Like, is it for you or for everybody? Like, and there's like all these questions about like why it's spam. And I'm like, no, I don't know. I just want like a crypto. I want a crypto spam, boop, and then gone. Like that's what I want. It's this whole like process. And like with those two things, that's at least 50% of my like interactions with Twitter is basically just dealing with like random crap like that.
I think the crypto spam's gonna get worse now that Crypto Daddy is head of Twitter.
So yeah, like when he's trying to buy it, like the usage stats, he wants them to be right. But now that he owns it, the incentives like flipped. Now it's like, fuck, let's get those usage stats up.
Let's get those bots in there.
Yeah, like, that's good.
Look how many accounts we've had made in the last 24 hours. People love it.
That's growth. 300% growth in 1 week.
You're seeing capitalism, my dude. You're seeing capitalism in action.
You know what actually has 300% growth? Fucking doggy coin.
Oh, hell yeah, dude! My fucking
Hell yeah, dude.
$2,000 fucking investment in that shit.
Yeah,
That was-
maybe
that was-
my.
Is it
portfolio
really
was
going
fucking
up?
Shit.
That was worth
I've stopped
fucking
looking at.
$5
Wait,
now.
I
Since the
just
Twitter
checked
thing?
it. It's like 200% since October 24th.
Great. So we're up from fucking 3 cents to 6 cents.
Yeah, it's up to.
Yeah, you got me excited for a second. I'm still in the negative on that shit. So.
Oh god, I'm still like in the hole, like really bad.
I don't know, man. Like I don't use Twitter like that. I know people do. I don't think you guys use it to some degree. All I do is just fucking like try and tweet out to celebrities every now and then. That's it. I think that's the best thing. I think it's the best thing it's there for. Like almost all of the social media does, I think, what Twitter does, other than just like spewing a random thought. Spewing a random thought, I think, is what Twitter is best at, and I think that's why people think it's a cesspool, because it's just like, I don't want to hear your random thought about some stupid shit that doesn't make any sense.
But then you're on the wrong site. I mean, if that's the case, then you need to go somewhere else, right?
That's true. That's true. But I'm saying for me, my experience with Twitter is literally like either someone posts a video on some other social media from Twitter, or B, it's like someone posts I don't know, some shit a celebrity or politician says, or like C, it's like I need a tweet fucking, Henry Cavill or something. So I was like, hey, Henry Cavill, get your ass, back in Witcher or something like that.
For the game dev sphere, Twitter is like the social media space.
Oh,
that's where a lot of like information gets spread around. A lot of like you get to see a lot of really cool shit that people are working on. You get to hear a lot more about games. So for me, it's just been that. I like most of my interaction with Twitter has just been talking to other game devs or like looking at cool shit that people are making.
No, 100%. I mean, it is a bona fide social media thing. So it has people promoting stuff, industries, people posting stuff. Like, I mean, like I think Justin said, it's like it is what you curate it to be. I don't really use, if you count Reddit, I guess Reddit is kind of a social media. I use Reddit more like a news feed of stuff. Some people try and use it like social media. I think that's stupid, but I'm just not too keen on social media, I guess. Maybe that's just me booming. Actually, no. If I was me booming, I'd be on Facebook posting all the time.
Right? Yeah. I was gonna say,
yeah.
dude, like you're gonna believe all the conspiracy theories you find on there, 100%.
But I don't know, man. Like, I think it might be like it's either dog that caught the car, Justin, or it's fucking Musky playing like 6D chess with like Saudi Arabia and like politics and all that sort of shit. Like,
Spoilers, it's not that.
Maybe he'll figure out some way to end the war in Ukraine with all those resources.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Like, I just have to believe that there's like a smart enough reason other than
Didn't he say that he was going to end world hunger? Didn't he literally say that? Didn't he say on Twitter
that
he was going to end world hunger?
He said, like, show me how it's possible with 6 billion and I'll do it. And
then
think,
somebody did?
I think the out is there that, like, he wasn't satisfied it was feasible with the $6 billion.
Okay.
I believe the response to that was like, this is what we're going to do with it. We can't solve world hunger with 6 billion. And then their general response to that is world hunger is not a money problem. It's a couple other problems that you can't solve with money. You can solve it with guns, but you can't solve it with money.
I mean, you can use money to buy guns, right?
That's
like
true.
ultimately, everything is a money problem. You just need enough of it.
No, because
We've created a world where everything is a money problem.
you can't, like, you have to be willing to use the guns, and if you're willing to use the guns, then you're declaring war.
What if we killed half the population?
I mean, that could work, but that still won't solve world hunger. Because if we kill half,
The other half will have plenty of food.
no,
Because not only do we have another, 4 billion humans that we can eat, but we have all this extra food that they left.
as I understand it, the problem with hunger in America is logistics. The problem with hunger in like third world countries is like warlords and stuff, like killing UN people and like taking all the food and aid and stuff for themselves and like their civil wars. So unless you're going to go in with armies to kill warlords, which is a viable option,
that can be solved with with money.
that can be solved with money for sure.
Like why are those people doing all those things? Because money. They need more money.
The State
So they
Department
do the
says,
things.
if you go to
Like literally, like they do the kidnapping because they need more money. They do the ransoms because they need more money. They do the like threats
Sure.
of violence because they need more money.
I mean, I guess what are you going to do? Pay a warlord off?
Yeah.
It's not going to be enough. You have to kill them.
Probably.
So
Yeah,
if you,
maybe, yeah, I don't know.
If,
Kill
you,
them.
if you kill a warlord, like you either have,
Hey, we'll give you $1 million if you just are like nicer, please.
Yeah, I'll give you $1 million just to chill, dog. Just go chill. Just go chill. You have $1 million. What are you gonna
What
do?
if it turns out there actually is a way to improve the Twitter algorithm, and then there's just no more warlords? It's like, oh, we don't have to listen to that warlord anymore. He's not on my feed. Like, we're free. But that just solves everything.
I think we need to
only.
like solve the human algorithm.
you know what, Christopher? I bet you if we put AI in charge and we're just like fix the human algorithm, I think it will start Thanosing people. I think it'll say, guys, this is the easiest way, man.
Like Thanos
Yeah, I think
IRL
the law
or
of
like
numbers.
Thanos off the internet?
Like Thanos snap, whatever. I don't know which one you consider that.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Wait,
I turn
what?
into dust, like right here,
Oh.
in physical body. Like, okay, I see.
Yeah, just like straight meat grinder, like half the population.
Oh, what if they did just kick half the population off the internet?
Oh, okay, all right. I think it would actually be okay. Wait, hang on. What do we define to be the internet? Like, is it just like the major social media sites? Is it like your fucking landline connection? Like, because if it's just the major social media sites, I think we're gonna end up in a situation where we have just two internets, like right wing.
One for good boys and one for bad boys.
I mean, one for liberals and one for conservatives.
No.
and
Why are there
going
only
that
two
direction.
types of people?
Yeah.
That'd be.
Alliance Internet.
Can we
and
have
Horde.
7 internets? Wait, what?
Alliance Internet and Horde Internet. And the only time you can see each other is during battlegrounds. And when they talk, it's like, oh,
Yes.
During the purge.
World of Warcraft just taught us that 2 factions never works.
World of Warcraft taught us that the undead should have been in their own faction, and Tauren should not have been part of the Horde.
The heck, man.
Bold.
Um,
But then they wouldn't have had druids.
Night Elves should have kept to themselves.
Night Elves were chilling, man, chilling until their shit got burned down. But I don't know, man. So you mentioned kicking half the population off of social media, but social media isn't the entire population. I believe the big ones all have around 1 billion users, and I'm sure there's like 80% overlap with all the other ones.
Well,
Yeah,
if you
that's
kick off
right.
half the population, like,
So you're saying we should
most of the
give
people aren't
more
going to
people
notice
the
it.
internet?
But, like, if you just do, like, random chance, you'll get half of the social media users, right?
Sure.
So, in like the nightmare scenario where like Elon Musk buying Twitter, it actually is some conspiracy to like help Donald Trump like build his online presence again. So like in that scenario, like, do you think there could be a connection to like? So I guess I want to ask a more general question. Like, what do you guys think about like political advocacy through like purchasing decisions? Right, like I mean,
what?
another thing that
I don't
came up
agree
in the
with
news is like the Adidas Kanye thing, and so like I don't know. Basically, with that Adidas Kanye thing, I just have
Can
these.
you explain it a little
ideas-
bit?
Yeah, yeah.
What the
So
actual thing is?
basically, you got this background where Adidas has this big deal with Kanye West for his Yeezy sneakers.
As the primary manufacturer and distributor of Kanye West's Yeezy line.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeezy.
And,
I think you said it correctly.
Yeah, they're Yeezys.
Okay. And every couple years, Kanye like kind of goes off his meds and he just has some difficulties. And this one, like, he was complaining about some, I think somebody that owned like an agency that he worked for at one point, and he's made this conspiracy about like the entertainment industry in general and about Jews, and then I think he even got on this like podcast afterwards, and like people were not happy about that and they were complaining about that, and then he got on that podcast and he's like, look, I can say this anti-Semitic stuff and Adidas can't drop me. And then at that point I was like, well, that's pretty blatant. Like, I actually did kind of expect Adidas to drop him at that point. And I think like Adidas, they were really kind of stuck. You could tell that internally there was some conflict about what to do because they just didn't make any statement about that for a while. And for that whole time, I was like, you know what? Like, fine. I guess I will stop wearing Adidas. Like I didn't make that decision right away. It took me like 2 weeks, but it took Adidas even longer.
Was it that long?
Like,
I thought that the delta was like less than 10 days from like him saying that statement and him getting dropped.
What was the statement?
The statement was exactly what Nate said. It was, I could say anti-Semitic things and Adidas won't drop me.
well,
That
wasn't the
literally,
original-
okay. I thought it
wasn't the original
quote,
thing,
quote unquote, he said that.
Gotcha.
It wasn't one thing. He was bouncing around a bunch of different. He's bouncing around Instagram and Twitter and just like saying a few different things. I don't really know the full extent of it, honestly.
Like, my
And-
first interaction with that was like I saw like a Nazi rally or something that someone posted a video of, and they added Adidas, and I'm like, why the fuck are you adding Adidas for a Nazi rally? I don't understand. And it took me like 30 minutes to figure it out.
Oh, it's
Like
because
no one was helpful about it.
They had the Kanye was right sign.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and anyway, yeah. So I like basically the same day I decided to stop wearing those shoes. That was the day Adidas dropped Kanye. It's like later that same day, but it's like I already made up my mind. So it's like I don't know, one day before that, and I wouldn't have bothered. But
The funny thing to me about that situation is like Adidas is still gonna sell the design. They're just taking the Yeezy name off it.
Mhm.
It's still like the weird shark shoe croc thing.
Can they
It's just
still
not
sell
gonna
the
be Yeezy
design?
anymore. What?
Can they still sell the design? Did they design and manufacture? Did they do everything and just slap his name on it, or is it?
I'm sure there's like some level of collaboration, but I'm sure the deal worked out that they own the design wholesale.
Because I think they're going to lose out. Like the deal between them made them each like hundreds of millions of dollars every quarter.
Right.
Every fucking
Apparently it was
quarter,
like
man.
at least 10% of their whole revenue or something.
I
I
mean,
think it was like 7%, which is incredibly high for fucking Adidas. But, yeah.
I believe I read that Adidas is going to lose out on about 300 million just the rest of this year because we're hitting holiday season.
My first like impulse when I was going to try to replace the Sambas was just to go to the mall and like look for Nikes. But like me going around shoe shopping, it seems to me like all these shoes are like made out of bubblegum now. It makes me feel like an old person. It looks like people are walking around with like wedges of like chewed up gum on their feet.
Yeah, one thing I don't like about shoes now is like the heel is like this big fat marshmallow thing. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like a goop of gum.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I'm sure it's actually better for running and actually lowers the impact, but I think it looks fucking stupid.
You have to make sure that you're buying like the performance shoe versus the like casual style shoe.
Right, yeah.
Because my brother got me a pair of Nikes that kind of look like sneakers but kind of don't, and they're definitely not like I wouldn't fucking run in them. But I don't know, man. The Kanye thing is interesting. Like he's clearly a dude off his fucking meds, but he has a voice and he has money, so people are gonna bury him when they
So he
can.
matters.
I'm not saying he matters, but I'm saying that he has push and influence. So whether or not he's off his meds, people can't afford to be empathetic to that, because again, he has a voice that's very loud and push and pull. What I do find interesting is that he was saying a lot of shit pretty much all year about a whole different bunch of people. I don't know if like the anti-Semitic thing was the linchpin. I don't know if everyone's going to drop him before that, but it's pretty insane, like the shit that he was getting away with, and people weren't dropping him. I guess this was the last straw.
So wasn't he saying stuff? He was like,
I mean, he was rolling around in fucking White Lives Matter clothes for like 3 months.
Did you see his apology to the family of who's the guy that started like all the BLM riots?
George Floyd.
What?
Yeah, George Floyd. He apologized to George Floyd's family because now he feels what it's like to have a knee on his neck because of all the canceling.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
He's fucking unhinged.
But he's been saying this shit like all year. Like,
yeah.
as soon as he divorced like fucking Kim Kardashian, like it's been fucking a roller coaster of shit he's been saying.
It's all Pete Davidson's fault. For fucking with him.
Maybe.
Yeah, freaking Pete Davidson and his 10-inch dick.
Took him off meds.
that is like the running theory, like what got Kanye so riled up, right? Like,
I mean, why would it not? He had a very public divorce in which another very public figure was openly mocking him.
Not another
Like-
public figure. The most public figure, the exploitative public figure.
you're talking
Who,
about him?
Kanye or Pete Davidson?
I was thinking the Kardashians. Like they'll fucking post that.
Oh, and the Kardashians, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely think that probably has something to do with it.
I think he's been going down since what he did. I think either last album or the album before that. Like I heard it and it was awful, and I was like, "Yep, this is it." Kanye's going down a bad rabbit hole. Because his music has been, in my opinion, pretty phenomenal up until like the past couple of years, and then like there's a sharp turn in theme and music quality, and I don't know, maybe he's hit past like the genius and insanity part, and is now just insane,
It's a fine line to walk.
I suppose.
I don't know. It's just been like kind of annoying that I feel like I have to like reassess these like things I've decided to buy, and like I don't know.
Why? They dropped them. You don't have to reassess anything anymore.
I already did. I already made a decision. Then like I saw they dropped him like 20. It's like I was like, all right, that's enough. Like whatever.
So you just bought another pair of shoes?
Yeah, I went to the mall. I just wore my running shoes around for a couple days, and then I went to the mall. I was looking for the different Nikes. Like I honestly just wanted whatever Nike shoe was like the same. But it just kind
So
of.
what did you do with your old shoes? With your Yeezys?
I don't know. No, I just had the Sambas, the Sambas. Honestly, I like those shoes, but whatever.
Then just keep them. You just got a new pair of shoes. It's not like your feet are gonna grow, bud.
But like, honestly, like it's not just that. It's like maybe it's time to like just put away the Sambas. Like I've been wearing those things for like 16 years, something like that. And I've gone through like maybe like 6 or 7 pairs, and like I don't know. It's like a chapter that maybe it's just time to close anyway.
Maybe it's a good excuse to, if you want to like, I guess, end that chapter. I don't know. I feel like you can, if you just look up. I think the best kind of thing you do as a consumer is just look up what you can in terms of like product sustainability and all that sort of stuff, and then just go from there. Everyone on the boards are assholes. All the people that endorse stuff are all assholes. Like, I don't really think it matters. Like, I mean, I
got the Nordstrom brand shoes. I think they're called like TDs or something.
Sure.
Super fine. Yeah, but honestly, like I don't feel like Elon is like really a tech figure anymore. I feel like he's really like, And I was definitely willing to give him some leeway because I actually do think he's been fairly involved in technology. Like, people like to make fun of him because he's not. I don't know. Like, in my opinion, he probably was, at least to some degree, involved with things. Like, I've watched some of his like kind of long form interviews, and it actually does sound to me like he knows what he's talking about with like the kind of engineering process stuff. And but like, it just seems like he's so determined. Like, he's so determined for that not to be like who he is, like that it just isn't anymore. Like, and I was honestly like, just I know he's been trolling on Twitter. Like, he's been trolling on Twitter for a long time. Like, and I just didn't care that much. But now he's like he's like about trolling on Twitter. Like, it for me it like crossed some line, and I was like, this guy just like isn't really doing technology anymore. He's just like messing around. It's disappointing.
It gives me this conspiracy theory that there's something that like you learn, something that you are privy to when you become incredibly rich or certain, level of the government, that just completely breaks your brain. And then you get Kanye's and you get Elon's, where like it seems like things are going well for them for a while, and then all of a sudden something just snaps, and now they're fucking weirdos. Like, they just let the whole weirdo out of the bag.
I think they were always weirdos, and I think they kind of rose to that level because they have just different fucking minds. Like Elon, like he just started doing a bunch of shit, and it just kind of worked out in his favor somehow. Kanye made really good music because he has a different fucking mind that just does weird shit, and it worked out. For every Kanye, I know there's probably like 99 other like Joe Schmoes that just don't work out in the same way.
You're saying only crazy people can make it to the top?
No, not saying only crazy people, but like these people are these people get to this level because they are unique in some shape or form, and to get to whatever they're doing, you have to be unique. So you don't have to be like completely insane to do that, but like you do need to have like a different way of thinking about stuff, I think.
What I will say though is that it was my perception that people were going after Elon pretty severely before I thought he really deserved it. Like, and I think for him that was a problem, and I think I think this decision was largely motivated by that. But if you take a time machine, like what if hypothetically it's like you've just got like an increasing amount of vitriol that's just sort of targeting Elon, mainly like just because he's a billionaire, and people don't believe billionaires should exist, and I actually think there's valid opinions on both sides whether or not it should even be possible to be a billionaire, and but like at that point, like instead of the knee-jerk reaction being like, okay, I'm just going to buy the platform where they're making fun of me, like I think he should have maybe been trying to look through the smoke and see some of the fire there. Because I think a lot of the flack he was getting was all smoke. It's like, but there actually was some fire. And if you look at some of the, for example, it's like why are even like moderate Democrats like snubbing his companies? Like why is Biden not like highlighting Tesla compared to the EVs in Detroit and stuff? And the answer is because Tesla's not unionized. And would it have killed Elon to maybe try talking about how to do some unions? Because I think even just little things like that, like that's you're still going to see some smoke, but there's some fire there too, and that would really put a lot of it out. Like, but he just went, and that's like a way he could have gone like back towards, I don't know, back towards like something that's more moderate, like, and more socially responsible. But he like went the other way, and he's like still going. And now it's just like, fuck, like we're not, it doesn't feel like the whole thing is stabilizing, you know? It seems like he's going the other way. It seems things like are getting less stable as a result. So I don't know. But yeah, I guess as I've been thinking about it, I had this conversation with somebody about whether or not Tesla should be unionized. And I actually took the position that maybe they shouldn't be, but like it was really just kind of a debate club like position I was taking. I wasn't actually really sure if that was my position. I was just kind of playing devil's advocate. And then since thinking about that, like I think they probably just should be. I think the guy I was talking to was right, actually.
Wait, sorry, they should be what?
I think they should be unionized. At least, like, they should be trying to start getting unionized to some degree.
Sure. I've heard really terrible things about Tesla working conditions. Firsthand, I met a guy who worked as a welder in a Tesla factory, and he would talk about it too, how much that, like, he really respected Musk and he really wanted, like, Tesla to work, but then he started working there and it just got, like, the conditions are just fucking ridiculous and terrible. Do you think that snapped him? Do you think that's what broke him, turned him?
I just think he didn't actually. I think he just got a bunch of this smoke, and he just got disoriented, and he just didn't understand it, and it just kind of went the wrong way. Like, that's what it seems like to me.
But don't you think he's had plenty of time since then to go back? You know, to change course. He just keeps doubling down on the trolling instead of trying to like back up on it. He just makes it worse and worse and pushes harder and harder.
That just seems to be like some effect that the internet has on people. Like, I think maybe it's like text-based communication or something. Like that just seems like that's what happens. Like,
yeah. I mean, if you see enough stupid shit, like, you're just gonna want to, like, spitefully push back. Like the Just Stop Oil shit, where they're, like, destroying, like, historical paintings and stuff. That shit makes me want to just go run my car, just to, like, fucking spite them. Like, I just want to go run my car for an hour, just burn some fucking oil. Because, what the fuck? This is so fucking stupid. I fucking hate this.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't consider anyone on the internet a person. I assume everyone's a fucking, like, a nameless, you know, blob in the fucking internet verse.
Yeah, everybody's an NPC.
Like, if you go on Reddit, like, you can click someone's profile, you can see, like, they've been on Reddit for fucking 10 years, and they post a bunch of comments here and there. Some of them have pictures of themselves and, like, their house and their cars. Doesn't exist. They're not people. That doesn't exist. It's not a person.
Yeah, internet's not real. It's not.
It's just like a blob. And I think to someone like Elon, and maybe Kanye as well, or maybe all these people, like, I don't know, like, social media does this weird thing in their brains, and just fucking their brains are on a weird feedback loop.
It's not just NPCs. It's like NPCs programmed to say the most annoying thing. That's like what it is, right? Like,
I mean, I guess so. I mean, and some people just like to troll. Like, he likes.
I
to
think
troll
people just.
and he has
I don't
200
know.
billion.
They'll just get offended by it, whatever. Yeah.
Like, people what?
He's bored. Well, as far as Nate was saying, like, you know, they know how to get to the crux of it. They know how to say the worst thing. I think regardless of what they say, it's probably just if you are already in a position where you're feeling backed into a corner, or like things are against you, like, no matter what anybody says, it's going to seem that way.
I don't know.
It's a very animalistic thing.
Sure.
You're like, you start lashing out.
and I mean that the whole time he has had like a lot of support on Twitter too, though. But I think it's like somehow there's something about the, like, people in these like public places where, like, with a high volume of stuff that they're seeing, it's like you'll tune out all the support, and you'll, like, tune into, like, the opposition.
Do you think Elon Musk has a therapist?
You know, I actually don't know.
He probably doesn't
I
believe.
feel like
therapy.
Elon would be one of those people that's like, I'm above therapy. They can't
Right.
help me. I feel like that's how he would be, but, like, I don't know for sure. Maybe he's a big therapy advocate. Who knows?
Maybe he should just go to therapy. Elon Musk will literally buy Twitter instead of going to therapy.
Yeah, I think that really could be it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, it's like, what would you do with absolute fuck you money? I try and help people. I try and take care of myself, but I would also probably troll the fuck out of someone somehow, some way. I don't know if you guys ever watched Curb Your Enthusiasm, but in one season, Larry opens up a spite coffee store because the owner of his favorite coffee store, like, was fucking up. He was making the coffee cold. He made scones too soft, and then he got banned from the coffee store. And he's like, fuck you, I'm gonna open up my own coffee store. He opens up shop right next door, modeled everything the same way, and just made a spite coffee store. I don't know.
Did he like undercut all the prices?
There was one scene where it was like $3 for on his window, and then Larry would put like $2.90, and then it'd be like $2.70, and it'd be like $2.50, and they'd just go back and forth over the price. I don't know if I would do that, but I would definitely like fucking troll people. Definitely fuck.
Could do some Nathan Fielder shit. You can.
Yeah, I would just do. Oh my god.
Yeah.
His.
Go make dumb Starbucks.
Have you seen Nathan Fielder's new show, The Rehearsal?
The Rehearsal? Yes.
It was incredible. It was incredible.
It's phenomenal.
I learned a fact about Nathan Fielder actually that's related to the previous topic.
He graduated MBA with stellar marks from one of Canada's best business schools.
C minus. I love that.
Apparently,
I only know
Elon
about him
Musk-
because of the
Nathan for you.
iPatch Wolf video.
The
Nathan
iPatch
Musk
Wolf?
likes
Yeah.
the show, and he will he's like Elon Musk is like will parasocially like try to get like that guy to laugh at his jokes. Like he'll try to like keep that guy around him. Like that's
Didn't he did the same thing with I saw a thing with like Rick and Morty or something.
yeah.
Or he was hanging out with like Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon. Yeah, I mean, what else is he gonna do with that money? I think he's just a lonely, sad man. But he needs to stop being a fucking prick. What the fuck is iPatch Wolf?
He's a YouTuber. He usually does like video essays about shonen anime stuff, but this week he did a 2-hour essay on Nathan Fielder.
2 fucking hours.
Yeah, it's a really long fucking
Wow.
video.
Maybe I should watch more of those shows. I've just seen a couple, but
Actually, never mind. It's only an hour.
An hour with a million views. That's actually pretty good. Considering all his other videos are fucking like an hour plus long, and they all have fucking millions of views. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's a very popular anime guy.
who's that guy?
Super Eye Patch Wolf on
Super
YouTube.
iPatch.
But yeah, man, just imagine what you would do with the money. I guarantee there's some trolling involved.
It makes at least as much sense to try to make a self-sustaining city in like the middle of the Sahara or like the bottom of the ocean before Mars.
That's what
Wait.
I'm gonna run on the platform of I'm gonna run for president when I turn 35 on the platform of building a space elevator, starting the construction of a space elevator in Utah. I fucking just drove from Nevada to Texas, which is a 24-hour drive. There's nothing out there. It's just wide spans of open nothing.
So
you could pop a space elevator right down in that bad boy, build a few towns around it to support the people. We got a whole new economy going.
So
Let's do it.
So I actually looked this up because if I was a gazillionaire, this is what I would do with my money. You can buy. I looked up Washington D.C. Washington D.C. is about 44,000. I think it's 44,000 square acres or square miles. I don't remember. Not square miles.
It would only be 100 square miles tops.
Yeah, 44,000.
No,
I think DC is 44,000 square acres. I found 50,000 square acres of land for sale in America in like middle of nowhere, New Mexico. It covers 3 counties. It's fucking barren. And it costs $18 million. That's
You can
it.
build a whole town there.
18
I don't know why any of these fucking millionaires and billionaires need to get more creative with their bullshit, because buying Twitter is dumb. Building a town, that shit's cool.
$18 million for more space than DC. So if I was a gazillionaire, I'd get my fucking $18 million. That's literally find that in the couch, literally in the couch. Go to the middle of nowhere, and build my own city, and be as egotistical as I want. I would call it Musk City 1 if I was Elon Musk, and because he could do the boring project there, like because the land is part of 3 counties, so he'd have to make his own county, make his own town. He'd be like the president and head of like all like the town charters and all that sort of stuff. He can make
Isn't this basically what Walt Disney did with like Epcot? or at least what he tried to do anyway.
Yeah, but A, that's in Florida, and B, no, because there's like all the counties and stuff still controls that stuff. I think that's why there's some issues with like taxes and like the nature conservation and stuff there.
I see.
I
my
think
understanding was, like, he
Disney
just-
actually does have some political power there, though, because like the governor tried to actually like take it away recently, and then Disney had like their lawyers put out this thing, and they're like, if you do that, you're like, that's like they have some
It wouldn't be very good for you.
something like that. Yeah.
It's a nice economy you have here. I'd be afraid if we ruined it.
But yeah, that's what I would do. I would go start my own fucking mega one city and do it as futuristic as possible. And include
That's the real shit.
fucking everything.
Billionaire stuff. All this other stuff is so fucking stupid. We have the ability right now. If somebody popped up like, you know, a utopia city in the middle of the desert and it had Google Fiber, I'd move there tomorrow. I could. I think a lot of people could. I think a lot of people could just move there tomorrow because of how like abundant remote work has become.
Sure.
Well, you know, a lot of people who have the means and stuff.
Sure.
So get
mean-
fucking to it.
I mean, I would for sure do that, but I would also probably do like a lot of this troll shit too. I think you're discounting like if you had that kind of money, the kind of troll shit you would do.
Remote work flash mob could actually make a lot of money. Just so I heard that I think it was the subway in Sweden. What they did was the entity that was in charge of building the subway, like bought the
The
land.
entity,
I don't
the
know.
architect.
Like, I don't know if it was like a corporation that they made or like the municipal government or whatever it was, but there's some organization. They're the ones that are in charge of planning the subway, and they funded it by buying land before they announced where the stations were going to be. So they like bought this land, and they're like, guess what? There's going to be a station here. And then everyone's like, oh my God, I want to buy that land where the station's going to be. Oh my God. And then like they just sold the land again. So it's like the information that they had about like where that was going to be, they had the power to move the market for the land.
Sure.
And I think the same thing's possible with like that city that you're describing. Because if you get enough like remote workers that all agree to move wherever, then like you can do the same thing basically.
I mean, you don't even need to agree to have people move there. Like, okay, so my plan was this: I have billions of dollars, buy a giant plot for $18 million, like perk up everything, cities, get like the coolest city developers and city planners in the world, do everything, then round up all the homeless people, and just like, all right, guys, we're gonna teach you how to build shit. Send them all over there. They get jobs. They learn how to build shit, and they fucking build you a town. Or not even a town, they build you a city. Then once they build like the foundation for like a city, then you bring in like the fucking big guns and they start building like futuristic skyscrapers and shit. And again, you could do like Musky's Boring Company, and you can have like cars, all the cars underground, and then you have like a subway even further below that.
You could build the roads and infrastructure to support autonomous vehicles.
Yeah. It's genius move. Having said that, I would do all that, and if I was a gazillionaire, I would still have my mega yachts and buy random shit too.
It's 2022, my dudes, and we have not had a cyberpunk city yet. Like a cool one before the fall. It's stupid. We're way behind.
But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what Musk's move with buying Twitter is. But I guess I hope it works out the best for everybody.
I like Justin's idea. I also think that he's going to fail, though. I think he's just the dog who caught the car, and now he doesn't know what to do with it. And it's going to cost him a bunch of money. It's going to be nice.
It's either that or he's actually like evil.
I mean, he has control of the only thing that has politicians on it. There's no blue check marked senators and Congress people on Facebook and Instagram. I'm sure they have their own things, but like all those people, including like official government, state of Maryland Twitter, state of Maryland, governor's office Twitter, White House Twitter, president Twitter. None of those people are on Facebook. None of those people are on Instagram. So, I mean, if he's good or evil, he's now has them by the balls, so to speak.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll pull out?
I doubt it.
There
I
is
think there's
pretty
a lot
good
of
alternative,
engagement
actually.
from them there, though. I think that a lot of it just ends up. Well, that's not true. That's not true. There's a lot of people that engage on Twitter, especially politically, and I think a lot of politicians are seeing that Twitter is like a good place to engage on because it gives you following. I was more just talking about the like City of Maryland Twitter that just tweets out, the random
I
shit
mean,
that
all
goes
that's-
onto their Facebook pages as well.
I mean, that
So-
shit's just like server status. Twitter's.
This could actually. So I saw that it was like a conversation that got, I don't know if it got leaked or intentionally published or if it came up in the court documents or something. There's a conversation between Elon and Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey was like the original Twitter CEO. And Jack Dorsey was saying that he actually didn't even think Twitter should be a company. He thought Twitter should be like a protocol. And that like you could have like some sort of like federated like thing where people just use the protocol to communicate. And that was like a better vision for what Twitter should be. And there actually is something like that exists now. It's called Mastodon.
I've heard this is the second time I've heard of Mastodon this week.
It's basically like that thing that Jack Dorsey was telling Elon that Twitter should be. That's basically just what it is. It's this whole open source stack of software, and you can just stand up a Mastodon server yourself, and then there's a protocol for how different Mastodon servers talk to each other. So it's like if one Mastodon server just like gets a bunch of Nazis in it or something, well, the other Mastodon servers can just block them, right? And then, but there's still going to be like a mainstream of kind of mutually connected Mastodon servers, and that just is your Twitter basically. And
Why don't you create one? Start a Mastodon server, invite us all into it.
sure. Or
I
we could
assume
just
that's
join
how
it.
it works, right?
Yeah, but you can also just sign up to one that already exists. There's like public ones that you can sign up, and then like
Okay.
your name will be like at like name at server or something like that. There's like two things. So and then you'll see like your local server chat, and you can also go to like the global like tab and see like stuff from other servers too. And yeah, and that's just an open source alternative. And it is kind of not, it is sort of decentralized, but it's done in a way that it won't necessarily be like a cesspool because the different servers can still have their terms of service, and then you can pick which ones you want to listen to. And also, there's also an open source RTS now, and that we were playing that last week. It put us to sleep.
Fantastic. Fantastic segue, Nate. That's the best segue I've ever heard in my entire life.
Good segue.
That was amazing.
So I don't know. What if this is just a thing that's happening now? What if these open source things actually are reaching to this final like consumer level? Like they've always had trouble, right? But like,
Yeah,
what
I
if,
think we
what
still
if
have a
it
little
really-
way to go, but
Yeah.
I think. Sorry, I've been looking at Mastodon, just looking up all this stuff that you're talking about in the meantime, and I was thinking the same thing. I looked at it and I was like, stand up a server? Like, I don't want to engage in any of this shit. Bringing that stuff and creating a easy to use interface, like in an app, which is what they did, makes it a lot more enticing. Like, I look at it and I'm like, okay, this app looks kind of cool. Like, I would mess with this app rather than trying to figure out how to like all the ins and outs of Mastodon.
Yeah,
but-
not everybody needs to actually like stand up the server.
Former
Yeah.
U.S. President Donald Trump's social network Truth Social is based on Mastodon.
But they tried to say it wasn't. It just is an open source code base.
Yeah, so it says it initially did not make the source code available, violating Mastodon's AGPL-v3 license. They had to send a formal letter to the chief legal officer, and then they published the source code. Very interesting. I mean, back when I was reading into universal basic income, a lot of people used Wikipedia as like the open source encyclopedia example of like what people do for free and like the weird incentives people have for doing stuff for free. It's like Wikipedia is almost, it's like 99.9% of Wikipedia is just random people putting information on it, not getting paid for it, and just doing it because. So there's like a weird thing where like, I don't know, if a group of people want to do something, they'll spend a lot of time doing it for free.
Yeah,
But
it's a good case for universal basic income too.
There are companies around a lot of these open source projects too. Like I think Canonical maintaining Ubuntu, that's actually a real company. They pay salaries and like have profits just for doing like support services.
Sure.
So I think you could have something like that for these other kinds of projects too. Anyway, I think that's probably what we're hitting around like 10 p.m. So
Yeah. Let's wrap it up then, Nate. Any final thoughts?
No. Anything going on? Anything you guys want to shout out or?
How long until you're going to stand up the ALC Mastodon server? I was looking at their open servers, and they're mostly Russian or Polish
Oh, I saw some other ones.
or Austrian.
So there's like different tabs. Like a lot of them are for like open source. Like there's a lot of technology stuff. But
Yeah, it's a ton of tech stuff.
But there's some intersection there between gaming and tech. I think I'm sure there's something. Maybe like it might be more on like a dev side of game dev, but it might be interesting. And I think it's going to be growing now. I think there is going to be just a general usage migration from Twitter probably.
There was apparently thousands upon thousands and thousands of people getting on Mastodon stuff after Elon announced his intent to buy Twitter back in April. It's like massive influx.
It just makes sense. And maybe it just needed an impetus anyway. And honestly, like I used to be a pretty big Elon Musk fan, but like at this point, it would be just funny just to see like Twitter just completely fail and everybody move to the open source thing. Like it would just be funny. Like I don't know.
I guess so. All right, boys. I think that's a good place to end. Thank you for the topic, Nate.
No problem.
Why don't you sing us out?
This has been the ALCast. Boop, 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 dee 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 doop. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Till next time.
Bye.
Hi guys.